Can this USB cable that I just pulled out my phone charger be better than that of an Elgato CamLink? Let's answer that question. So for those of you that are streamers, you might be well aware of the brand of Elgato at this point, with their sort of wide range of product for streamers, as like their Stream Deck and their Wave mic and a bunch of all the other stuff that they make. However, for streaming, do you really need to drop a big, let's say, stack of cash on an Elgato CamLink when something like this USB cable and that of a free software, could it be better? I think I've been able to answer this question, and in reality, I don't think that you need to spend that money, at least not at first. This is made possible through the Canon EOS Webcam utility software, which at this point is in beta, but it's also free. So with this free software and standard cable that anyone can find in their home, compared that to a premium solution with that by Elgato, with the Elgato CamLink, using a Canon M50, an entry-level mirrorless camera, could it be better? Let's take a look at the sort of differences between the two options. With the Elgato CamLink, you can get clean 1080p 60 FPS video straight from camera and input it into the Elgato software for you to sort of manipulate and whatnot. However, using the USB cable and the EOS webcam utility software, you're locked at 720p and 30 FPS. The software is still in beta, so whether in the future this might be 1080p 60 or whether it will stay at 720p 30, it's all about the limitations of what the port on your camera can actually go through. On paper, it is comparatively a lot worse, considering sort of need for higher quality streams nowadays, and those that are higher quality on stream in terms of the camera quality normally outrank those that just use a regular webcam, such as the Logitech C920. So let's take a look at the sort of differences between that of a Logitech C920, between that of the M50 with the USB cable and the webcam utility software, and that of the Elgato CamLink combined with that of the M50. So as you can see here is that some examples of footage from me with the Logitech C920 in the top left, me with the M50 in the top right with the USB, and in the bottom with some footage from another YouTuber with the Canon M50 with the standard kit lens with some decent lighting running through the Elgato CamLink. And as you can see on the left side of the face on the Logitech C920, it doesn't pick up a sort of flat color. There's a slight pinkish hue, and these are standard settings left as normal on OBS, and as you can see, it's a little bit more flatter and slightly overexposed, whereas on the right side the contrast is more, the blacks are deeper, where the dynamic range of the camera on the M50 shines a lot better than it does with the Logitech C920. Take this into comparison with that of the Canon M50 on the Elgato CamLink, we can see that with the kit lens you can get it to look pretty good, and obviously with the extra 1080p 60 FPS it does look that just a little bit sharper. But if you're going to take into consideration how a Twitch stream will compress your video through the encoding and whatnot when it gets sent out to a viewer, and the fact that it will be put onto a mobile screen, that high fidelity will mean less and less, which is why this big jump between that of the C920 and that of the Canon M50 with the USB is that bigger difference, where that big jump is what you need. And it's sort of like the law of diminishing returns, where sure you're spending more money but that amount of change is very minimal. As you can see here is an example of the Logitech C920 with slightly better lighting with softboxes and colored panels, and as you can see it looks quite good, as you're able to get, in terms of the Canon M50 is able to get better lighting in terms of how the shot is better exposed, and that the highlight of the light on the right side of the screen, it picks up a lot better and it lights the face in a more natural way, whereas on the C920 it looks very much more, the highlights don't show as well as it does on the Canon M50 with the USB cable. With this next example is with the same one light setup, setup. This is where I had the window closed, such as in the first test, but this is with the Canon M50 with a speed booster and a 50mm f1.8 lens. And as you can see, the difference is absolutely huge. And the point of this test is to show that instead of spending your money on the Elgato CamLink, you can instead spend it on a better lens, which makes for a much better picture. As you can clearly see, the difference is absolutely huge, as you're able to get the really nice depth of field and sort of bokeh depending on what you have in the background. And this can be easily shown in this next clip with the better, more expensive lighting, where you're able to get some nice bokeh in the background, a nice, better dynamic range in terms of the colors, and the color values look a lot more appealing than it does in that of the C920. So the question is, should you spend your money when you're starting off streaming on an Elgato CamLink, or can you save that money and use it on a better lens? And the answer is absolutely. So if we could take a look here between that of the Canon M50 footage you were just looking at and the footage next to it with that of a speed booster and a 50mm f1.8 lens, the difference is staggering. It looks incredible in comparison to that of the Logitech C920 you just saw. So do you really need to go up in terms of the video quality, in terms of resolution, or would you best be spending your money on a better lens? And I think the results speak for itself. Always go for the better lens. However, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't spend your money on the Elgato Game Capture, because this solution of the USB cable and the webcam utility software isn't a be all end all. It's the next stepping stone between that of the webcam to that point. And for those of you that are starting out, don't shell out your money on something that doesn't need to be spent money on when you probably have this sat next to your bed right now. Combine that with your camera and you'll get a much better result than having to spend money where it doesn't need to be placed. So make sure that you are investing into the visuals of your stream properly. And then if your stream starts picking up pace, then by all means, go out and get the Elgato CamLink. However, it doesn't mean that it should be the first thing that you purchase. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. Make sure to turn on the notifications for the next time I upload, and which I hope you'll also change the way that you look on the industry. This has been Jay from Conquer Media, and I hope you do the odd edit or two.